Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Common Man's Compass with David
and Justin. This is a great podcast, guys. It's a podcast navigating life, faith, and everything in between. A conversation where anything goes. You never know what we're going to talk about. There's no telling. But we always try to keep God in it and keep God involved.
And we're glad you're here.
Hey everybody, how's it going today? We have a lot going on in the world, all kinds of stuff. And the craziest thing is, I would have never imagined, David, in a million years, that we would ever see the last penny being created.
I honestly thought the penny was gone like 20 years ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, like, you find pennies everywhere, but no one's really, like, taking the time to be like, hey, someone made that. Like,
jeez.
I think they said that it's going to save us like 50-something billion, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 56 million, if I remember correctly, but don't quote me. That's what I think Trump quoted that it would save us. And it's crazy because apparently the penny has been circulating as a coin, it's the, what does it say? The event marks the official end of the penny's 232-year production run as a circulating coin. That's crazy. And I would have thought it was longer than that. And I know that may make me sound like an idiot.
well, you know that like our current money system that we have now is like not really that old. They used to have old different currency. Different states had different currency, and it was all jumbled and crazy.
I didn't know that. I've never really looked into currency that far.
I was looking at something about Fort Knox years ago, and it was talking about like the Federal Reserve that we get all the money and stuff from was created because everybody had their own kind of paper money, their own wooden nickels and stuff.
I believe that 100%. And it's crazy because our money is no longer backed by gold.
Right.
Is it? It's not backed by oil anymore either, is it? Or is it still backed by oil?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I know the last thing I heard was like Nixon took us off of the gold market.
Yeah.
But I don't know about oil.
Yeah, I could have sworn we went from being backed by gold to being backed by oil, but don't quote me. Which realistically, oil does make the world go round, bro. I mean, if you are an oil baron, you are loaded.
Right.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But my question is like, where does that copper come from that makes the penny? And where else could we use that copper?
Well, fun fact, they're not entirely copper and haven't been in a long time. And that is something that is created a significant expense. The production of it costs more money than what it was worth. And that's why they're getting rid of it. Let's see. Let's use the old Lagoogly. Let's see what a penny is actually made of today. And yes, we're using the Googly, because why not? Use some Google. You have the world's information with you all day long, and it sits in your back pocket 6 inches from your butt crack all day.
And it will never lie to you.
That's right. You have no excuse to be stupid. Let's see. I'm going to type real quick.
But I figured they would be starting off getting rid of all the different ones.
All right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
A modern U.S. penny is mostly zinc with a thin copper coating composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. Before 1982, pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This change occurred because the cost of copper had risen to nearly the value of the coin itself, making it cheaper for the government to produce them with a zinc core. And then back 1943, it says steel pennies, 1943. During World War II, pennies were temporarily made of zinc-coated steel to save copper. Probably for copper jackets.
More than likely.
That's for our gun users out there.
Effort.
Yeah. But Man, I tell you what, it's a pretty crazy world we live in. I never would have thought I'd live to see, the end of a currency.
Well, we also grew up with the reemerging of the digital money.
That's true. Well, and something that does scare me, and it's something I've seen floating around. It's supposed to be in Europe. There's discussion of an ID that if you don't have this physical, it's like I don't want to lie, folks. If I'm lying, please correct me. But I want to say it was something like a chip or a body tag or an ID or something.
Yeah,
so that you can't work if you don't have one.
I just saw something that said that I think it was Amazon that opened 4 stores that you just stick your hand in this little hole and then you grab whatever you want, you walk out, and it goes to your account.
That is some biblical stuff right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I promise you, there's no way. I'll move to the woods. me and the family will be camping for the rest of our lives. I will hunt what we eat. Yeah, I feel like that stuff's definitely biblical, and
oh,
you should be careful.
And they're selling it by convenience. Oh, you don't have to get out of your car. Just stick your hand out, and I'll charge you your hand.
Yeah. What it was talking about was the right. And if I'm misquoting it, folks, please let me know. But the guy was saying that it's the right to work in Europe. It's the right to work in Europe. If you want to work in Europe, you have to have this. And if you don't have it, you're not going to be able to work in Europe. I don't know if it actually went through. I don't know if they put it into place. I don't know. It's just what I saw. And I was like, that kind of what, the Bible does talk about things like that. And I would, the mark of the beast and such, I would prefer not to deal with that. I'm glad we live in America.
Right.
Now, if that did happen and the mark of the beast thing did happen, that would, I don't want to speak incorrectly of the Bible, but I'm betting it would probably be worldwide. If I'm wrong, forgive me, Lord, not trying to be wrong, but.
But speaking of America,
yeah,
Trump also has made it where if you burn American flag, you get 1 year in prison.
I agree with it.
Yes.
Because there are too many pricks out there, and I don't care how that sounds, that are burning the American flag, and we hate America, we hate the country we live in. That's stupid. That is retarded. The country that's given you everything you've ever wanted, the country that made it so that you can eat the food that's on your plate, the country that gave you job opportunities, the country that gave you an education, the country that people died to protect and defend for your right to be able to go destroy a flag and claim that America is terrible. Find another country.
But at the same time, I got to play the advocate.
Okay.
It is a form of freedom of speech.
It is a form of freedom of speech, but it still makes me mad.
But that's just like you can walk outside and call your neighbor a butthead or whatever name.
Yeah, but I think burning the American flag is a little extreme.
Right. Well, and I mean, it goes back to the law. If you read the law, it says you have all these freedoms until you're messing with someone else's freedom.
Right, pretty much.
So it's like, well, obviously, burning the American flag is going to piss off some vets. It's going to piss off some people that have immigrated from other countries to America to make America them.
Right.
That would probably make me mad if I was a foreigner in this country trying to make my life better, and then I have some yahoo out there burning the flag. Instantly, people think I'm with that group because I'm an immigrant.
Well, off of the burning flags, we've got some other crazy things going on in the world with illegals coming over and apparently getting CDL licenses and driving commercial motor vehicles. And the crazy part about that is a lot of them can't speak English. There's been plenty of video recordings where they can't even read the signs. There's one I saw, this dude's leaning in the truck. He barely speaks any English. The officer's showing him pictures of signs. The guy couldn't tell him what any of the signs were or what they meant. Had no idea. And that's dangerous. And we had that one incident where that dude made a U-turn in the middle of like an interstate or a freeway or something.
Oh, yeah.
And killed a bunch of people. I'm not saying that you shouldn't come over here and make a life for yourself. What I am
but
saying
if
is
can't
do
read,
it.
you can't read the signs.
Yeah, and I'm saying come over here legally and do that, not illegally. If you're coming over here illegally, then
Right.
everybody's like, "Why are they calling us illegals?"
Well, and like
Illegal
I said,
alien. The word illegal. They're breaking the law.
like I said before, you have the people that have done their work to get here, and they are instantly shoved into that group that we just open the floodgates and we have all these illegal people come in, and it looks bad on the ones that are here trying to be an American citizen.
I agree. You know, it's really sad. It makes it harder for everybody when people don't follow the rules. You know, and I know people don't like to hear that. I don't remember the name of that guy or what he was, but he was in court and they were talking to him and they were discussing things about, you know, why would you separate these people from their families? And he was like, if I show up to your house for a domestic disturbance, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to separate your husband from you.
Right.
You know, and it's the truth. If you broke the law, you broke the law.
Right.
If I go rob a bank, guess what they're going to do? They're going to take me away from my family, and they're going to put me behind bars because I robbed a bank, and that's doing something illegal. Coming into this country is illegal, and it's really unsafe when you have illegal immigrants operating commercial motor vehicles that they have no business operating. Now, on the same note, if you have someone that's a legal immigrant coming over here and they want to operate that commercial motor vehicle, I have no problem with that.
Learn the language, learn the signs.
That's right. And learn to drive, like learn the law. Learn to drive according to the law and safely. Learn the signs, learn how to read them, learn what they say. For our viewers out there, I have a Class A CDL with tanker. I just let my hazmat go. My buddy David here, he's got a Class A CDL. I've done a fair bit of 18-wheeler driving myself. Like you have to be careful.
I was classically trained. I went to a college to train, but I only have driven an 18-wheeler during class, and now I drive a trash truck. But the rules apply, but I don't know about over the road.
Yeah, well, the rules are much harder over the road. There's quite a bit more you got to follow.
Oh yeah.
So I've done over the road. I've hauled all kinds of things, and I won't get into what I've hauled, but I've drove bobtails. I've drove trash trucks, roll off trucks. I've drove box trucks. And by box trucks I mean I've drove an 18-wheeler hauling a 53-foot box trailer. Like I've hauled all kinds of stuff. And there's all kinds of things you need to know and safety precautions you need to take. If you're running hazmat and hauling explosive material, then you need to make sure that, like when you go to the bathroom, say you need to use the bathroom and you stop at a gas station, that truck can't be out of your sight. So you better hope you got a buddy with you. Right. There's so many things that matter. There's certain towns you can't even drive through.
And
you have to go around them.
That's just in one state.
Yeah.
The next state next over,
maybe
they got different rules.
Yeah. You've got so many different things. You've got like a 16-hour exemption you have to follow. You've got there's so much, dude. Like there's so many things. That 16-hour exemption is meant to be used. I think it's I normally didn't have to use it, but I think it renews every 7 days, every 7 or 8 days or something like that.
Right.
And so you use that when you've gone over your hours. It gives you like 2 extra hours, but it's meant just to get you home or get you somewhere safe.
And now you can't even cheat on the books. Like I know so many people that they had their actual book, and then they had the book they give to the police officer. Like, oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah. You can't do it now; it's all electric. And so it's like, oh, let's pull it up. Like, oh, you've been driving for 3 days straight. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah, dude, and that stuff don't go away on that e-log. So let's say I drove today, which I'm not currently operating a CDL motor vehicle. I'm currently working in a restoration shop, but let's say you were cruising along, and let's say today I went over on my hours, and I didn't use my exemption. I just ran out of time and kept going. Well, let's say day after tomorrow, I got pulled over just for a random inspection, which they can totally do.
Oh, yeah.
And it's good. They check your truck out. They go through everything. You better hope you're nice to that officer. But they'll check you out, and they'll go through your e-log. And if they see on that e-log that day before yesterday you went over on your hours, you're in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
It's on there for a while. Dude, they don't play around, man. And they look over everything. Air leaks, oil leaks, you name it. Tires low on tread, lights working. And on the flip side, I've got some friends that are in the DPS, and one of them I was talking to him, was just BSing with him, and we were talking, and I said, man, what do you do if when you inspect somebody? What would you do if somebody told you, no, I'm not popping my hood for you to look under there, and I'm not doing this inspection? He said, well, I've had that happen a bunch of times. I said, what do you do? He said, well, I just take my book and I get in front of the truck and I go, headlights. All right, no headlights. High beams. All right, no high beams. He said, because they're not doing them. Left blinker. No left blinker. He said, by the time I get to the horn, they're climbing in the truck. Which is a good way to be. Like, they have to do their job too. And a lot of people get so mad. Highway patrol this, highway patrol that. Bro, they got to feed their families. They're just doing their job, and they're keeping the road safe.
Right.
And if you can't do your job to help them do their job, that's on you.
Well, and you also got to look at it like, what if you didn't know you had a leak, and he's pulling you over? Hey, you're pouring oil everywhere.
Yeah.
He just saved your life.
Someone else's.
He just let you go home.
Yeah, absolutely.
What threw me off when I got my Class A was the cops treat you different when they see you have a Class A. I got pulled over because I rolled a stop sign. I mean, I stopped. I apparently didn't look, but I looked around and then I drove off. I just touched the brake, and he pulled me over, saw that I was a Class A, and he's like, I would give you a warning, but you have a Class A. I'm going to give you a ticket. And it was like, man,
Dude, he really hated you.
Yeah. And he was totally cool about it. I mean, it wasn't at the school zone, but it was like a block or two away. So he was just like, I kind of respect the guy because my kids went to that school. So it's like, if I'm running stop signs, what if I hit a kid? And you just don't think about it. You just like, I got to get to work. No one's around. I'm gone.
Yeah.
And it's, that's the whole point to me. That's the point of cops, is to serve and protect. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're doing. They're serving my kids and protecting me from my stupidity.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I don't disagree with that at all. And it's funny too, when they see you have a CDL, if it's a cop that knows a fair bit about CDLs, then they know that's a mark that won't go away for a certain amount of time. I don't remember how long it stays on, but so he must have really been being a douche. But where I do understand though is having a commercial motor vehicle license, they like a CDL, they expect like you that says you're a professional driver. You should know the law. If you're making these mistakes, like, you don't deserve to have that. Right.
And I mean, it could have gone a lot worse. I could have started ranting and raving and,
absolutely.
Hey, you know what? We're going to do an inspection on your vehicle. Hey, you know what? Your eyes are kind of glossy over and you just got mad for no reason. We're going to do a field sobriety test.
Right.
I could have really been there for an hour to two.
Absolutely,
But that's the way I've always handled police, or I've tried to. When they are unprofessional, then I become unprofessional. But for most of the time, you know why I pulled you over? I was probably speeding. I wasn't paying attention.
Right. And if you own it, they're usually pretty cool. There's only one time that I ever got pulled over and I was irritated by the situation. I got pulled over, and the guy that pulled me over, said where I had my truck parked was a no parking zone, but there was not a single sign. There was nothing that said that was a no parking zone, and it was totally clear. There's cars were very, very easily able to go around me, and I was parked waiting on another truck to get out of where I needed to be, but he had to finish making his delivery, and he knocked on my door. I looked out. And I was cool with him, even though he was being really rude. I was cool with him, because I know you get more bees with honey than you do vinegar, and I do know they have a job to do. But he was like, man, it was like he was trying to make a name for himself,
right?
Which is crazy because I'm friends with a lot of police officers in our area. I don't have a problem with a cop. They they got their job to do, just like we have ours. They got to feed their family, and they got a really dangerous job because there's plenty of stupid pricks out there that act fools. My buddy Austin, I won't say his last name, but my buddy Austin's a police officer where we're at, and he's a great guy, and that poor dude puts up with so much crap from people, and I feel bad for him. But in this particular instance, there's always one bad apple and a bunch of everything,
And of course, that's the one everyone knows.
yeah, it never fails. Well, this gentleman pulled me over, and and this has been several years ago. This has been 10 years ago easily. And but he pulled me over, and he's like, "Yeah, you're parked in a no parking zone." And I was like, "I didn't know that." And I'm looking around, and I don't see any signs. And I said, "What? I didn't see the sign." And he looked, and he didn't even respond to that. He just ignored that. And I said, "Well, what would you like to do about, like, what do we do next? I'm waiting." And he's like, "Well, I need you to pull up here on this road right in front of us." And I'm thinking to myself, if I pull down that road, it's going to be really hard to get off that road pulling this big old trailer. But all right, here we go. So I did. I pulled over there, took up the whole road, because that road was smaller than the road he had me on, way smaller. So now I'm taking up an entire road with this truck dang near. And I'm sitting in the truck, and he's like, "Oh, I need you to step out." Well, it's raining, and for the company I was working for, I had to wear black khaki pants and a red like a 3-button button-up shirt deal, and some tennis shoes. That's what you had to wear. I get out, and it is starting to rain. And he asks for my logbook, and I was like, no, let me correct myself. I got to backtrack. He asks for the, not for the logbook, but for the, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the papers that say what's in your trailer, and I can't remember what it's called now, and my brain's everywhere. But he asked for that. And manifest. Sorry. I had to think of the word. Sorry, folks. Anyways, he asked me for my manifest, and I was like, this truck does not require a manifest. And he didn't know that. And he said, all trucks require those. And I said, nope. I said, but I have a logbook if you'd like to see that. I handed him the logbook. And you ever look at somebody and go, you have no idea what you're looking at?
Right.
That's kind of what that was. And this is a younger guy. So it's like he was kind of new, and he's looking at it, and he's reading things, but I can tell he has no clue what he's reading. And then he gives it back to me, and he said, well, I need you to open up the back of this trailer. It says in giant letters all over the side of this trailer what this company is.
Right.
And I'm not going to say the company, but it's all over the side of this truck. It's everywhere. It's on my shirt. It's on the truck. It's on the trailer. It's on the back of the trailer. It's on the front hood. But I'm like, if you can't guess what's in this trailer, just from what that says. But okay, I didn't tell him that, but that's what I'm thinking. Still raining. Now it's pouring. I walk over there. I open the trailer. He sees what's in there. I said, do you need to get in there, sir? No, I see you can shut it. So I shut the trailer, and he says, I'll be right back. And he goes to his squad car and comes back, and we had a discussion, and then he left, and then I had to get this truck out of there. I was so irritated. What irritated me wasn't that he pulled me over. It was that he pulled me over for a reason that I feel was not right.
And that he doubled down on stupidity.
Yeah.
Instead of calling somebody and being like, hey, man, this is the situation, and I need some help.
Yeah. There's a truck over here. I don't know what I'm looking at. What do I do? He could have got on the radio, called his boss, and been like, "Hey, man, what do I do? Do I need to go through all this stuff with him, or do I just write him a ticket, or that's all you had to do?"
When you pull somebody over, you don't have to instantly get out of the vehicle. You can sit there for however long. You're starting your investigation. You compose yourself. Hey, I need help. I mean, they have supervisors. Yeah. They have other police officers. That's
Absolutely.
all they do is
let
me help.
If you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
I'm willing to admit when I don't know things. There's a lot of things I don't know.
We should have given them a hug and be like, hey, it's all right. It's going to be all right.
It'd have been in the paper. Man shot today for trying to hug police officer. Officer thought he had a firearm. He must have been on drugs. That's terrible. For reals though, we back the blue. You need to stand up for your police officers.
Right.
I don't support the whole defund the police thing. I think that's dumb. So you're telling
the
me
stupidest thing.
I think police officers do a really great job at their job. But these dumbasses that are like, oh, I don't think they do a very good job at their job, we're going to take money away from them. So that makes sense. So take away funding that gives them the training they need to do their job better. That's retarded.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, you can come up with some claims like this, like, oh, we need to defund the police. They're all crooked. They're this, they're that. Okay, well, what are we going to replace? Because the people that aren't gangbangers, that aren't anything, you take the law away from them, and then but you're not putting anything in there to secure them.
Yeah, I agree.
So then it's like, Disneyland for the neighborhood crackheads. It's like, I'm going to go in this person's house. Who's going to stop me?
There's not going to be a catalytic converter in the neighborhood. There's some real loud cars everywhere.
Right. And that's my only problem with a certain party's policy. This is bad. This is wrong. All right, cool. I can kind of get on the board with that.
Yeah.
What are you going to replace it?
Yeah, that's the day. Like if you got problems, you need to have solutions. Not hey, we're going to take things away. That's dumb.
No one likes that person. It's like, you're doing that wrong. You're doing that wrong. Well,
absolutely.
Get over here and show me how to do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and next time you next time you have a problem, don't call the police. Like,
yeah,
if you don't like them, suffer. I'm sorry that guy broke into your house.
Right.
What do you want me to do about it? It's just dumb. That whole situation makes my eye twitch. You should support your local police department, your local fire department. Those people are there to save your lives. The EMS workers too.
Right.
That's what they're there for. That doesn't mean overuse them and abuse them, but
it also means don't disrespect them when they're there for you. When they're there to, like I said, serve and protect.
Yeah, I was BSing with one of my buddies here a while back, and I told him, because he was on duty, and I just caught him at the store, and we were BSing for a minute, and he went to leave. I said, man, be safe out there. He said, yeah, I'll try. He said, my biggest fear anymore is that I'm going to end up on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that a fear for the person that is protecting you? That shouldn't be a fear for them. They should need to do their job right, knowing there are repercussions if you don't. But that shouldn't be the biggest fear. They're carrying a firearm around for a reason, because there are other people in this world with firearms and knives, and in my buddy's case one time, a sledgehammer.
Right. That was crazy.
Yeah. He had a guy. All that happened was we were in the middle of a burn ban, and a guy started a fire pit in his backyard in the middle of town, and my buddy went over there and just kind of sat like a house or two down, watching the situation while fire department came up and asked him to please put it out. And the guy got belligerent, and so they asked my buddy to step in, and so he just went over there super chill and was like, "Hey man, we just need you to put the fire out. It's if you can just do that for us." And that guy got really angry and started yelling at my buddy, and my buddy was like, "Hey bro, let's calm down. What's your name? Let's start anew. What's your name?" The guy refused to give his name and told my buddy if he didn't leave, he was going to kill him. And my buddy was like, yeah, I'd prefer we not go there. Please calm down. Well, the guy picked up a sledgehammer and come at him. So my buddy had to pull his firearm and make the guy drop the sledgehammer.
Right.
And the guy dropped the sledgehammer. My buddy didn't have to shoot him, thank God. And we had to talk about it. Man, it was all over the news, and people were hating on him. That guy had a hammer, and this cop pulled a gun on him. Well, yeah, it's a sledgehammer. Could have killed him.
Right.
That guy was like 3 times my buddy's size. And on top of having a sledgehammer in his hands. And very vocally letting him know that I'm going to kill you with this.
Right.
And it's sad that the people that go through that and deal with that
come home to be hated on because you were trying to survive and trying to just keep peace.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, I know there's bad apples out there, but that was not that case, And me and him talked about it quite a bit. And he told me, he said, dude, I was just scared I was going to have to shoot him. I was scared. I didn't, and he obviously didn't give me any specifics about the guy. What I knew is what I had seen in the news, and that's all he gave me. But he talked to me about his feelings on it. And he was like, I was scared that I would have to shoot this dude, you know, because I don't want to have to do that.
Right.
He was like, I just was trying to de-escalate the situation and get the guy to put the fire out. He was like, and if he'd have put the fire out, all would have been well. But instead, he got held at gunpoint, put in handcuffs, and put in a cop car, and taken to jail for terroristic threat. Like he said, you know, and I fully believe he intended to try to kill me.
Oh yeah.
But that's the world we live in. There's plenty of crazy people out there. You got people on God knows what, and drugs and everything else, and dare I say it, if they just had more Jesus in their life, you know, I've said that a bunch. I feel if people tried to focus on God more, they'd be okay.
And if they would have a village, you know, a community, we used to have that. Like when I was a kid, I had a stepdad, and he worked really hard. But I also had guys in the neighborhoods. My neighbor, you know, all these guys showing me like, "Hey, don't do that. You're being stupid." Like,
yeah,
get to church. You know, listen to your mom. Take care of your house while your dad's taking care of business. You need to take care of the house.
Yeah, which is good. That's good. That's good. We need that. But on that same note, would you like to pray us out, David?
Sure. Lord, thank you so much for today. Thank you for just letting us come together and just spitting ideas and talking about everything. We appreciate your wisdom that you have given us, Lord, and please bless everyone that's listening. In your name, amen.
Amen. Y'all have a good day. We'll catch you on the next one.